So look, automating a $47 product is cool, but the reason why you'd want to have some type of low ticket offer like that is to ultimately be liquidating your ad spend, right? So if you're not even making or spending like $5,000 a month on ads and you're trying to sell something low ticket, then you need to start bringing in more revenue so that you're then spending more money on ads. And then, do you see what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense to spend your energy on that. People think it's easy to sell low ticket stuff, but I'm telling you, like, a very small portion of our revenue comes from low ticket. And that we only have that stuff purely because we want to liquidate our ad spend and some of our operational costs. So that's kind of what I'd say on that.
Welcome to the Viral by Design podcast with Dave Rotherow, where we get inside the minds of today's leading viral marketers as they reveal the exact strategies they use to build brands, products, and campaigns that are magnetic to customers, spread like wildfire, and seize the attention of millions. This is Viral by Design.
So welcome to another episode of Viral by Design. I'm very excited today to be joined by Lauren Tickner. Lauren is the CEO of Impact School, a coaching business that transforms the company's mindsets and ultimately the lives of impact-driven entrepreneurs. She helps business owners that work online doing what they enjoy so that they can have freedom and fulfillment. She's worked with top brands including Gymshark, Adidas, Fitbit as an ambassador and a speaker. She's been ranked as a top 10 entrepreneur by Forbes magazine, Yahoo Finance, USA Today, and even the London Stock Exchange. Lauren, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, Dave, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Fantastic. So I'd love to learn a little bit more about your backstory. Obviously, you've done some incredible stuff, but how did you actually get started out in business and what led you to where you are today?
Yeah, so funnily enough, as you alluded to with all the brands that you mentioned, I started out in the fitness industry and I never really planned on being an entrepreneur. I always saw myself as somebody who would become like the CEO of a FTSE 100 company because I've always been very, very driven, right? I always wanted to be successful. And so when I was 2 years old, my brother Adam was born, and he was born with epilepsy and autism and various other different learning disabilities. And so, I saw him have his freedom taken away from him. And so that kind of gave me the drive to realize, wow, having worked in corporate for a little bit, I don't want to have a life whereby I don't have any freedom. So basically, it all happened in a bit of a funny order because I started really young, then went into corporate straight out of school, then had a stint at university on the UK's #1 business degree for a while before dropping out. But basically, started posting on Instagram at the age of 16 to connect with other women who were into fitness, having been through my own fitness journey, which I won't get into now because it will just take too long. But basically, that's kind of how I started. People started coming to me, seeing my transformation and saying, Lauren, can you do coaching for me? So I started online fitness coaching. And that was when I kind of figured out how to build a coaching company in that space. And so when Gymshark and other brands contacted me to work with me, after being with them for a couple of years, all these big brands are going more mainstream. So given that they were all going more mainstream, they kind of dropped me and loads of my friends who were sponsored by them. So at that point, my friends who were big influencers with huge followings, millions and millions, came to me like, Lauren, how are you still, traveling? How are you still able to have this business? And I told them about online coaching, helped them with all that. And so now what we do at Impact School is we help people launch and scale coaching and course companies. But that all happened all through that. So that's kind of how I got my start. I really didn't explain that in a very eloquent way because it's quite late here in Dubai. But that is a little bit about me in a nutshell.
That's great. That's really cool. So when you actually work with people now, then do people, when it comes to you, have to have something they already do, so that they already need to have some kind of business in place, and then you teach them how to take that online and turn it into coaching? Or like, what's somebody's kind of typical journey when they start working with you?
So it's both, really. Some people come to us and they have zero business experience, like literally nothing. They just have this thing that they've been wanting to do for a bit and they want to figure out how to turn it into an online business. So we serve the market of service providers, teachers, coaches, experts, consultants, course creators, agency owners. We don't serve people that want, e-commerce businesses unless they want to build a business whereby they are going to be coaching people on how to build an e-com business, right? So we're really in the e-learning side, the coaching consulting side.
Got it. And then so when you help people get these things set up, is it typically one-on-one coaching first, and then you expand out into group, and then you expand out into courses? What's the process like?
No, so our clients are able to charge up to 16 times more than their competition while getting their clients better results and having people wanting to pay that. Because what we teach is an impact offer. So an impact offer is essentially whereby you focus all of your energy, and this is what anyone should do who's trying to have success really in, any service-based business. Focus on one particular outcome, right? Oftentimes you see people who always try and do so many different things. We do Facebook ads, we build funnels, we'll do PPC, like they do all these different things, but that really dilutes the noise. So instead, if you take one thing, right? So it's like, I'm going to help you get 10 more sales calls booked on your calendar per day using LinkedIn ads, for example. That's one key outcome. And then from there, you can reverse engineer the entire process and turn that into a step-by-step online course. But you don't just want to do an online course, because the problem with courses is that on average, people who are going through the course only complete around 35% of the content, which isn't ideal, because I don't know about you, but I don't just want to get someone 35% of the result, right? So ultimately, what you need to do in order to overcome that, and our clients see amazing success from this. Like, I have one client called Lee. He came and worked with Impact School, and essentially he teaches, let me get this straight, right? It's just so niche. He teaches tennis coaches how to teach speed coaching, right? So it's just the most niche thing in the world. And he came in, he got 8 clients, each at $5,000, which is 45 grand within 3 weeks, right? Which is a nice amount of cash just to add to your income. And that's only at the very, very beginning without having any real automated systems in place. So just going back to what I was saying, you have the A to B online course, which has the step-by-step process. But rather than just that, along the course, you want to be giving people action plans that they can go away and implement. So one thing that a lot of people think is that, when someone is becoming a coaching client, you need to deliver everything on one-on-one calls. But that's very time intensive on your part, and you're then essentially still trading your time for money. So what you can do instead is you can go ahead and you can automate that while still delivering an amazing client experience. So an example might be, let's just say you're somebody who is a dating coach and you help people find the love of their life. Right? Again, this isn't my personal area of expertise, and I don't have any methods for anyone to see amazing results in this. But just from the perspective of building out a coaching program, one of the action plans that you could give your clients is, okay, go ahead and create your Bumble profile and optimize it like this, right? So then you give them all the material they need to go and do it. Then they go and do it. And once they're done, they can submit that in as part of their homework, and then you as their coach can review it, right? So you can send them like a video screen recording back, reviewing what they've done, telling them what to change so that they can see enhanced results. And so that means that the client gets faster results. You don't have to be stuck on one-on-one calls the whole time, and then you can spend your energy focusing on marketing. So that's one side of things. And then of course, people are going to want a bit of coaching. So you could do group coaching calls. You can have a Facebook community. We're currently in the process of building a software whereby you're going to be able to host absolutely everything all in one. So that's pretty exciting. And that's another way in which people can scale once they kind of reach a threshold. But anyway, that's me taking a different tangent.
No, that's cool. You can tell you're excited about it, and it sounds like there's much reason to be. So I love that model. The fact that people have accountability, because that's the biggest thing, right? There's so much information on the internet. And if you wanted to, you could be like a perfectly ripped billionaire, like theoretically within 365 days if you really put your mind to it. But I think that's the big thing that people lack, right? Is accountability, and having somebody just the processes in place, like proper kind of streamlined efficiency for you and the client, and then also the coaching to keep them accountability and to keep them accountable in the community as well, right?
100%. And so what we're really big on is, every single client that comes in, and we advise this to our clients too, is make sure that every client is assigned a mentor. Once you get to a certain point, you can't be doing it all by yourself. And I think as a business owner, you need to, there was this one thing that I did, right? So I was reading a book by Dave Schramko, and I can't remember what it was called, Super Fast Business or something. And it talks about effective hourly rate. So essentially where you figure out how much, if you were getting paid an hourly rate, how much you're making. So let's say you're making 10 grand a month and you're working, I don't know, like 200 hours. So then you do 10,000 divided by 200. How much, what even is that? Like £50 an hour or something, 500 an hour? Is it 50 or 500? I don't know. It's not that's what calculators are for, right? But, then you figured out your hourly rate, right? I think it's 500. So then from there, that means anything that is below that amount, you should be paying someone to do it. So let's do it for real, because otherwise I'm going to be frustrated at my terrible maths in my head, which I could do if I wasn't trying to talk at the same time. Okay, so it's actually 20. Okay, it's 20. Oh, I've lost my train of thought now. Well, anyways, hang on, just give me a second, Dave. Okay, let me just get my numbers right. So if you're working, let's just say what's an average amount that an entrepreneur is actually going to be working?
I'd say realistically, you should be aiming for 40 hours a week, right? In reality, it's probably a lot more than that, but between 40 to 50.
Okay, so that's 160. Yeah, so that means your effective hourly rate is 62.5. 62.50 basically. If you're making 10 grand a month doing 40 hours a week, your effective hourly rate is £62 or $62.50 or pence, right? So anything under that, then essentially you can hire it out, right? So like if in the business, you can easily get a coach to work for you for under that, because you have to think about the opportunity cost, right? Any hours that you're putting in to coaching clients, that's time that you could be spending on revenue generating activities. And that's where, as a business owner, you need to be focused. But I've gone on a different tangent there now, and you can tell that I'm exhausted because of how poor that maths was.
No, it's so good. And you bring up some fantastic points there about like really appreciating your hourly rate. And I think something which people are really reluctant to do, and I've been through this as well in the past, I think most entrepreneurs are guilty of it, is really not valuing your own time and thinking, how can I get this done as cheaply as possible, on as low a budget as possible. Whereas in reality, when you know those figures, you know that, okay, my time's worth $62.50 or $100 an hour or anything, then you don't feel so bad about paying $50 an hour rather than $25 an hour to somebody who's actually going to have big impacts in your business, whether it be setting up processes, whether it be helping you to outreach, or as you say, coaching as well.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you.
Yeah, awesome. Happy days. So I'm really curious about traffic sources. So if somebody starts working with you, like they've never, done anything online yet, obviously they've got some kind of level of expertise, they've got something that they can coach somebody in. Say, for example, that tennis coach. Do they need to already have an online following? Are you working primarily with organic traffic first?
You don't need a following at all. I mean, another client, Charmaine, so she helps people reverse type 2 diabetes using a plant-based diet. Again, pretty niche. She didn't have an Instagram, before she started. She started in July or so. She had 2 jobs, right? 2 jobs and a part-time job where she was helping another coaching business. And she basically, within a couple of months, was able to quit both of their jobs. And her husband, who was an engineer, he even left his job too, because now she's making over 20 grand a month, right? And so she didn't have a following. So the reason I bring that up is just to emphasize that things can change very quickly. Your life can change very, very quickly. And it is very possible now more so than ever. And so I wish more people would realize the potential that there is. You don't need to have any crazy marketing experience. She had none, right? And so what she did, she made an Instagram account. She put expert content on there. She had 5 followers. I'm not even exaggerating. She literally had 5 followers. And then she started doing outreach, just starting conversations with people who were using hashtags like hashtag type 2 diabetes. And so she would just start the conversation. And the best way to do that is through giving them a compliment and asking them a question, and then having a conversation with them in a really organic way. And then once she had qualified them in the DMs, hopping on a sales call and enrolling them as a client. So do you need to have a big following? Absolutely not. And I think that's something that holds so many people back. Quite frankly, if you're sitting around waiting to grow a following, then I mean, you're literally losing money every day that you do that, quite frankly. But not just that, there's so many people who are never going to just magically stumble across you. Some people need to have that direct contact to actually become a client because they don't even want to sort of, I guess, necessarily like admit that they need help, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I'd be curious to get your take on this. I think so many people get caught up, especially as new entrepreneurs, obsessed with the idea of automating a $47 product so that they, you know what I mean? So they've got some kind of like stream of something which is automatic.
Passive income. I need passive income.
That's the dream, right? It's the laptop lifestyle, passive income, which like so many people get sucked into, right?
It's hilarious.
Yeah. So what you're talking about is going high ticket, is finding people manually going through and actually doing the heavy lifting first, right? It's actually...
Look, okay, so when you say manually and heavy lifting, like they're very strong words. So I really don't think that it's difficult. You know, you can literally be sat on the toilet doing it. You can be sat watching TV. You know, I want to really just make this very real right now. People complain about not being able to find clients because they are expecting clients to come find them. Whereas you can go out and you can start these conversations, and it's not difficult. Like, it's literally not hard. Like, if you're trying to build a business, an expert-based business like this, you should know your ideal client well. You should know what type of hashtags they're using or searching through. But hashtags is just one way. I mean, another way that you could find people is through finding influencers in your space and going and looking at who's following them, looking at, even better, who's commenting questions on their stuff, right? So that's another way. But so look, automating a $47 product is cool, but the reason why you'd want to have some type of low ticket offer like that is to ultimately be liquidating your ad spend, right? So if you're not even making or spending like $5,000 a month on ads and you're trying to sell something low ticket, then you need to start bringing in more revenue so that you're then spending more money on ads. And then, do you see what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense to spend your energy on that. People think it's easy to sell low ticket stuff, but I'm telling you, like, a very small portion of our revenue comes from low ticket. And that we only have that stuff purely because we want to liquidate our ad spend and some of our operational costs. So that's kind of what I'd say on that.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, with high ticket, you get like the added advantage, right, of working with people who really have skin in the game and really, you know, are the kind of people who make really great testimonials for you to attract more people like that, right?
Testimonials, referrals, and also gives you confidence, right? I think that's something that can be quite underlooked. If you are getting results for people, especially when you're new, and you see that and you see the way that their life changes, that feels so good. And then you know that when it comes to enrolling people and getting on sales calls and even training your team, you can really rally the energy and you can share the passion because you know that when they come in, it's all going to be okay. They're going to get to the outcome that they want to get to. And that's why I always say, you know, focus on one outcome, because then not only can you really make sure that the client gets an amazing result, but you can build systems around taking the client to that outcome, which you can train your team on. And all of your marketing becomes really, really clear because it's all focused on that one outcome, right? So it just makes everything way more streamlined.
Absolutely. That all makes sense. So what are you most excited about 2021? Like, we're just going into the year. What are your goals and like what you plan for this year?
Wow. So this year has already felt very much in alignment. I've had a lot of moments whereby they feel quite serendipitous. Like, it's been kind of crazy. I right now I'm very excited about the Clubhouse app. I think that it's going to absolutely revolutionize business. It already has for us. We're about to start scaling ads, but we've actually had to turn our ads off because I need to build more people into my sales team due to the volume of leads coming from Clubhouse, as in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds a day. We had our biggest ever week last week, and over 120K US revenue, not cash collected, but revenue can be attributed just from Clubhouse. And that was just in a period of about 5 days, right? And so obviously we had all of our other leads that we had been closing in that week as well. And so that was really exciting. And I'm very, very much looking forward to seeing how that goes, because also the people on Clubhouse seem to put more money down, right? So normally on average on a sales call, we'll collect around 40% of the total balance, and then the rest is on payment plans. It ranges between like 37 to 40%, something like that. And so one of our goals has been to increase our cash collected on the first call. And Clubhouse has immediately increase that because the leads seem to be more sophisticated. So I'm excited about that. I'm also excited about launching my software company. So that's a new endeavor for me. But quite frankly, I think that I just really hope that the world is able to open up, to be honest, because I have not seen my family for so long. And it's kind of weird because, yeah, I mean, it's the longest I've ever been away from seeing them. So hopefully I'll be able to go back to England and see them soon.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Crazy times, So I'm really intrigued about this Clubhouse thing because there's so many different people saying different things about this, right? There's some people saying it's a waste of time, forget about it. It's, and
they've made no money off it. That's why.
Well, that's true. Yeah. So how does somebody get involved with that then? How do you become a speaker in a room and gain that kind of traction, that authority?
Yeah, so I was so confused at the beginning. I had no idea. And I was like, this thing feels like a cult. Basically, I actually made a full YouTube video about it. I'm going to be posting it in a couple of days, so I will send you the link when it's done. But for everyone listening, wow. I mean, here's the problem. It might change by the time that people start listening to this because it is a new app. But ultimately, what I think is really effective is find people who you know are using Clubhouse. A lot of people are posting about it. And then just ask them, hey, do you have any invites or do you know anyone who can invite me? Then when you're on the app and you've got an invitation because it's invite only, basically just go into rooms with people that are thought leaders in your space. And there's this little button to raise your hand. Just raise your hand and then just try and share value, share value if you have the ability to. And it's crazy. Like, I started using it properly, 12 days ago, and I'm about to close in on 10,000 followers on there. That's great. Is unbelievable. My Instagram has grown 3,000 followers. It hasn't grown for years. My Instagram, it was stuck. I can't believe it. And so now whenever I enter into these entrepreneur, millionaire, business rooms, it's kind of cringy, I know. But whenever I enter into it, one of the people will just raise me up as a speaker. And so it's been really cool. And that's literally through building relationships with these people. After about 3 or 4 days of sharing value, they realize oh, cool, Lauren has value to share with our audiences. So let's raise her up. And so everyone in there all increases each other's followers. And it is amazing for not just for people that are business coaches or business consultants or whatever. Also, I have clients who are performance coaches. I have clients that are relationship coaches. They're all crushing it on there too. And the cool thing is because the clients are more sophisticated on there, the leads, if you kind of position yourself more as more of an executive, entrepreneurs, coach or consultant, you will kill it because these people, there are huge decision makers in there. I've been in these rooms with billionaires, which is amazing. It's so cool.
Yeah, that's cool as hell. I'm really intrigued about this. I've not really dived in probably myself. I kind of went in over Christmas, and I kind of got busy with stuff. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be making.
No, you got to prioritize it.
Yeah, 100%. That's really cool. Well, hey, Lauren, thank you so much for sharing everything with us. You dropped a ton of value. So, Impact School, how can people learn more about that if they want to get involved?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a page which kind of explains and breaks down our methodology. If you just go to impactschoolmethod.com, METHOD, kind of breaks down, the method that's best for launching a high ticket online course and online coaching. Totally free. It's no opt-in or anything like that. And then on any social media, just Lauren Tickner, you can find me there. And I hope that you enjoyed this episode and the Clubhouse YouTube video. Of course, go check that one out too.
Yeah, we'll add that down next to the episode where we post it shortly. So yeah, thanks so much and speak very soon.
Awesome, Dave. Thank you for having me.
Cheers.
This has been the Viral by Design podcast with Dave Rotherow. For more viral marketing secrets and to get detailed cliff notes on all episodes, visit viralbydesign.net.